Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear workshop. My name is Pat Bear and I'm here to do something that is not model kit building. That's right. It's a Tuesday, so I'm going to do something that has nothing to do with model kits. But before we get into that, I'm going to throw the Bear Cave Lego Site Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker, go ahead and lurk. Crazy Kook was in here before we really kicked things off saying, good evening, guys. Good evening, Crazy Kook. Welcome, welcome. It is Tuesday, as mentioned previously, and on Tuesdays I don't build model kits. I do something else. It's often gaming, so I don't call it like Gaming Tuesday, because sometimes I do things that has nothing to do with gaming. And in fact, this month, it'll happen twice. At the last Tuesday of this month, I will do my 4 times a year anime roundup for Pat Bear's Anime Club Live. So we'll do that. That'll come out. Yeah, that'll be 2 weeks from tonight. I'll be doing that. And tonight, more importantly, hey, Lord Crashington, welcome, welcome. More importantly, tonight, well, we're going to settle things. We're going to look at Tiermaker and do some Tiermaker lists. This was voted on by my patrons. If you're unaware, my $3, $5, and $10 patrons every month get 3 options for something for me to do on the second Tuesday of the month. And I put up a poll, and they vote on what they would like to see me stream. And it's often video games. Sometimes it's things I've done before. Sometimes it's things that I'm going to do anyway. Like sometimes if something comes in second place, it becomes what I do the following week. Not always. In this case, it won't be that, because I have something planned for next Tuesday. I'm going to look at a video game that I'm getting a copy of. And it'll debut next Thursday, I think, and then I'll be looking at the following Tuesday. Anyway, also it's September. I should mention that. From now until October 1st, you get 25% off new subs, and soon, I believe Thursday stream, this will be in effect. There'll be some other bonus things, and so I'll update that for Thursday. But currently, that's what you get. If you are new, you get 25% off a new subscription. And remember, don't use the Twitch app. If you use the Twitch app to sign up for people, don't have it auto renew and then renew it yourself on a website, because the Twitch website, so you save yourself a little bit of money, because that money doesn't go, the extra money you pay on iOS doesn't go to the streamer. It just goes to Twitch. So it's not like it's not like you get a better cut, or a bigger cut, I should say. Anyway, Tiermaker, it's a website. I did a whole year where I did 52 weeks of ranking things. I ranked a bunch of different things. I made some lists. I found lists. My 50-second video was me ranking the 51 videos that I did before that, which is a very silly, self-indulgent thing for me to do. I made lists where I was like, here are 6 of my favorite model kits, or like, here are 10 of my Lego sets I built this year. So I was self-indulgent for some of these. I did not create any lists this night over on Tiermaker. All of these were things that I found over the past week, and let's get into it with our first one here. Let me bring this up, and then we'll pop over to boom. There we go. This is Valve's Deadlock tier list maker. So this is the 21 characters available in closed beta for Deadlock, and I am going to tell you if they are S, A, B, C, or D tier. Now, it should be noted, I'm looking to make sure it looks good for you. It does look good for you. It should be noted, I don't know anything about how these characters play. I have seen 0 footage of Deadlock. We are going vibes only on this ranking. I might rank Lady Geist as A tier, and you might say, that's a D tier character. Lady Geist doesn't have a good ability, Pat. And I'll go, okay, but she's got a pure white hair, or a little touch of appears to be green. She looks cool as hell. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm going on vibes. We'll get to Lady Geist. There's just one that popped in my head first. Abrams. Let's start with Abrams. Abrams has blue, seems to be some sort of demon person. I don't know, B tier. Abrams seems fine. I'm not getting like hell yeah or hell no off Abrams. Bebop is a robot named Bebop, so that's S tier. Oh, well, went to A, huh? No, Bebop is what appears to be a robot with asymmetrical eyes that is named Bebop. So yeah, Moo. Dynamo is what appears to be some sort of robot, but either way, Dynamo has a bow tie. That's S tier. I don't particularly love Dynamo's name, but the bow tie is S tier. Gray Talon. Gray Talon is an old, what appears to be lady. You don't see a lot of old characters in any video games outside of family drama games. You certainly don't see a lot of older folks in fantasy games unless they are like ancient races, in which case they don't look old. So that's A tier. I don't know anything about you, Gray Talon, but I'm going with A tier. Also, hair's gray. Like that. Haze. Gandalf's, if you will. Yes, Lord Crashington. At least Gandalf does look old, but a lot of elves don't look it. Or wizards or what have you. Haze. I kind of like what Haze is going for here, but I don't love Haze, so Haze is B tier. Oh, went to A, but no, you're B tier. Infernus. I'm going to guess Infernus is some sort of devil man, but not this kind of like demon man, but like a devil. And trying too hard. D tier. Infernus is trying way too hard. The red sunglasses and the red hat and suit. Come on, too much. Ivy is. I'm getting nothing off of Ivy. So C, but I don't hate it. I just don't like it. Kelvin. I mean, handsome. Don't love the haircut. B tier. B tier. Lady Geist, I was talking about earlier. Lady Geist looks pretty fucking rad. We're going to go with A tier with Lady Geist. So far, we got robots in S tier, or robotic in S tier. Ladies with light hair in A tier. And then a mix of like whatever. Lash, I have no opinion on. I don't even particularly think. Yeah, no. I don't hate Lash, but I would never pick Lash. McGinnis. I don't like McGinnis's vibe at all. I get so little off McGinnis, but everything I get off McGinnis sucks. Okay, Mo and Krill. Mo is too small in this photo, and I do not know what's going on with Mo. Krill, or I do know what's going on with Mo, and Mo is the pig. This is a pig with a hat, and that's very good. If it was just the pig with the hat, S tier, no problem. But this photo does not give me anything about what's going on here. So that drops it down to B, but we'll revisit when we're done. A pig with a hat could bring it up to A tier, because I have no idea what's going on with this thing here. Paradox. Paradox also feels like someone trying too hard. Provisionally D tier, could move up to C tier. Pocket. Are you a pickpocket named Pocket? I don't know what's going on. Like C tier? I don't. No, I'm good. Sven, or Seven. I thought it was Sven. It's Seven. Seven's got something going on here. It's busy. We'll go with B tier, because I don't know what's going on there, but I don't dislike what's going on there. Is that a hat with candles on it? We're going with A tier then. I think that's cool. Vindictica. Mm, Vindicta? Vindicta. B tier. I don't have enough to go on there. Warden is D tier because of ACAB. Fuck off, Warden. You know what? Actually, sorry. Pardon me. We're going to add a row below. We'll pick color. There. We added a row. We got ACAB tier. Warden belongs in ACAB tier. Look, we've adjusted things. Oops, that's not what I want to see there. Wrath. We'll put Wrath in C tier. I don't love Wrath, but I don't hate Wrath. Yamato has got a real long face. I'm pretty into Yamato. I don't know what's going on here, but Yamato's got a long face, and I'm into it. Just weird looking. Not enough weird in Deadlock, as far as I'm concerned, and there's some weirdness there. I think it's pretty great. It's not S tier, but it's pretty great. Shiv has a good pompadour, but sideburns that keep going till they almost would touch a mustache, but then there's no mustache, which is really trying too hard on the facial hair, but the hair itself is very good, and that bumps Shiv up to B tier. Because the sideburns that almost go to where there should be a mustache. Hey, Vash, I don't like that. But Shiv's hair is S tier, so we're going to go with B tier. And then Vicious, or Viscous, not Vicious, Viscous. Viscous is trying too hard. D tier is when you just try too hard. I don't like it. It could be that Viscous is a robot. My first impression of this list is that hats are negative for you. Robots are a bonus. Lord Crashington, if you looked at this, for the most part, you're right. Although I do think that Seven has some sort of hat that I like because it's got candles on it. But yes. It's Wraith, not Wrath. My apologies. Hello, Meep. That's Wraith, not Wrath. Wraith's hat, not doing anything for me. Infernus's hat actively hurt Infernus. Warden could have just been called Warden. The hat makes it bad, certainly, but Warden was going to be bad no matter what. Now we have to decide here, because in case of Mo and Krill, I cannot tell what's going on here. The photo is too small, and I refuse to look it up because we're going on vibes. Krill is a pig with a hat. And so I do think that despite not being able to see anything really about Mo, and again, I assumed that it was named Mo and Krill, that this is Krill. Krill brings it up to A. I got to go with that. Is there anything else I want to move? You know what? The more I look at Kelvin, the more I hate him. Kelvin moves down. Kelvin moves down to C. I don't hate Kelvin enough for D tier, but Kelvin moves to C. And Bebop is in the right place. Dynamo's in the right place. Gray, Lady, Seven, Yamato, Mo, and Krill feel good. Abrams is the first person that we put in here. Kelvin looks like a big ginger guy from Game of Thrones. Yes. He's like one of those guys that makes his whole deal that I'm a Viking and like has like an online presence about being a Viking, and you're like, what part of a Viking are you? Like, what kind of Viking? Like, what about being a Viking do you like? I'm starting to wonder about your personal life in ways you would like probably not want me to wonder. Abrams feels right. Hayes might be a little high. We'll come back to that. Vindicta feels right. Shiv feels right. Ivy feels right. Lash, I may be a bit mean on Lash, but I think that's right. Pocket, I feel nothing. Wraith, yeah. Kelvin, good spot. Infernus, McGinnis, yeah. Paradox and Vicious. Am I being too... Is Vindicta an A tier? No. Is Lash an B tier? No. None of these are B tier. Is Hayes? Yeah, Hayes is too high. Hayes is going to C. If the thing I notice about you is that you seem like a secretary in the military, if that's what the thing that I'm getting from you is, I don't want that in B tier. My own personal take on that. My own twisted view. All right, good. We finished this. We finished the fight. This is my vibe check. Vibes only. No, I have not watched a moment of gameplay. I know nothing about these heroes. My vibes only feeling on these 21 deadlock heroes. If I was going to pick based on vibes, it would probably be Bebop or Dynamo. If I learned more about them, I'd probably be able to pick one. Depends on how Mo and Krill operate, because I do like the concept of a dual hero. But it depends on if you can switch between them, or you just pick one and you constantly get support from the other, or they act together. I don't know, Sometimes that can be really complicated, but that's not a bad thing. Anyway, that's our first one. I have many more things for us to rank, so let's go to the other one here. That's right. I'm going to get one of you mad. I don't know which one, but someone in chat or someone watching the VOD of this on my YouTube channel or here on Twitch is going to get mad about this ranking the best pizza toppings tier list. Here are our pizza toppings that we can choose from. We're going to go S, A, B, C, and D. Anchovies, bacon, basil, bell peppers, chicken, extra cheese, garlic, ham, jalapenos, meatballs, mushrooms, olives, onions, pepperoni, pineapple, plain, so just a cheese pizza, sausage, spinach, steak, and tomatoes. Some of these feels like you could just call it cheese pizza instead of plain, but whatever. I didn't make this list. I didn't put these in here. So let's talk about this. Again, I may make somebody here mad, and that is not my intention. I am just doing my own ranking, how I feel in the moment. And again, placement is not final because I can look at it after and move things around, as you just saw in my first one. Anchovies. I have only had anchovies on pizza once. Tomatoes belong in Italy. Yes. I've only had anchovies on a pizza once. I did not hate it, but I did not like it. I think anchovies do belong on a pizza, but I am not fussed about it, so we're going C tier. My general feeling is S is, there should not be a lot of S's. These are the cream of the crop. A is probably going to be a lot of stuff that's good. B is like, I understand, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say no. C is, really? And D is, no fucking thank you. That's my general thought in this moment. Will it stay that way? I don't know. Bacon. So I love bacon and onion pizza because the bacon grease gets absorbed by the onion, and that's great. Bacon on its own, I think is fine. You don't want that dehydrated kind of bacon. You want bacon that's got a little chew to it because it gives you extra chew, and I think that's good. Bacon is B tier. Bacon and onion would be A tier. Bacon might move to A tier. I want to look at it this after, but my gut says that's a B tier. And who knows? Maybe I'll move anchovies down to D, but I didn't hate anchovies when I had it. Again, only once. Basil. It depends on the pizza. This pizza right here that has basil on it, I think that's great. If you're getting a regular traditional cheese pizza, a American cheese pizza, and you're putting basil on it, you're being fancy for no reason. If you're putting basil on a pizza where you're putting fresh mozzarella, and you have chunks of mozzarella, and you are putting that on there with a heavy sauce, I think that is excellent. This is an A tier because of that pizza, right? This is A tier. Bell peppers. I mean, I would never ask for bell peppers, but if I opened a pizza, like a Supreme that has like peppers, generally green and red, and onion and like like a Philly cheesesteak pizza or something like that, or a Supreme that has like that with sausage. Like, I think that's fine. As a topping on its own, I would not want it. I would never order it. But if someone was like, "Oh, we have the only pizza we have left is bell pepper," I wouldn't be like, "Well, I'll pick it off." So that to me feels C tier. I wouldn't pick it off. I'm not psyched about it, but I'm not going, cannot eat this. And we'll there are a couple that fill that. Chicken. I mean, the thing is, I don't want that. I want beef or pork on my pizza. I don't want chicken on pizza. Have I had good pizza that has chicken on it? Yes. I have had chicken fettuccine pizza before that was great. I've had buffalo chicken that's been fine. I've had chicken and ranch. I've had barbecue chicken pizza that's been good. So I want to put it in a B tier because it's good, but I also don't ever want it, so it's C tier. So it's provincially B and might move down to C as we shake things out. Extra cheese is S tier. Cheese pizza rules. Extra cheese pizza rules as well. I just had pizza tonight for dinner, which is the only reason why I'm doing this list, because otherwise I would be mad. Meep says chicken dessert's better. See, to me, chicken is not A tier. I don't know if it goes to C tier, but its height to me is B tier because I'm never like, well, I got this, I got this, I got this. Ooh, I'm going to go with the chicken. Like, that's not just how I operate. But I had pizza tonight, and I had extra cheese, and we're going to go with that. That garlic. Depends on the type of the cheese, Lord Crashton says. Yeah, I mean, to me, extra mozzarella is what we're going with here, right? Like, that's what I want. I want extra shredded mozz on pizza. Sometimes a okay pizza becomes a good pizza with extra cheese. Sometimes a bunch of Parmesan dumped on top can make a all right pizza into good pizza. It can make good pizza into great pizza. It can't make great pizza. More cheese doesn't make great pizza into like amazing pizza, in my opinion. But extra cheese, I'm never turning down. How do you feel about feta? So me, feta and like olives on a Greek pizza, kind of going for a Greek thing with onion, olives, and feta, I could do that. Do I want that? If that was on this list and it was like those three things together, that would be like B tier where I'm like, that's good. But it maybe would dip into C where I'd be like, I would never ask for it. I wouldn't want like a feta pizza, just like, oh, it's like a cheese pizza. The cheese we picked was feta. I'd be like, no, get out of here. It's got to blend with other things. Garlic. So there are a couple pizza places in New York where I had very excellent fresh garlic pizza that had garlic and olive oil on it, and it was very good. So I am going to put garlic in B tier because I've had numerous examples where it's been excellent. So yeah, we're going to go with that. So far, nothing in D tier. Most things in B tier here. I think I've had pizza with Asiago that was a little, just little spots, and that was weird. Huh. Asiago. Yeah. Asiago is an odd choice, but like, I don't know. I'd try it. Ham. So this image is a pizza covered in ham, and that might be too much ham because ham can be often deli ham or even just like a ham steak can be kind of wet, and that's not great on a pizza. So I would think there's too much ham on this pizza. But crispy ham, Vash says, is S. Yeah, a crispy ham on a pizza. Like I said, this image is too much ham. But if you do like, you take a little bit of ham and you do something where you're like, you kind of make it almost like you're trying to turn the piece of ham into a flour. I don't have a good way of describing how you do that, but I've seen that be done in a restaurant. It's giving the ham more surface area and more crags instead of being flat, which will allow it to dry a bit more in the pizza oven. I don't know the technique there. I'm saying it like a flour, like you're trying to make a rose out of a napkin. You do that with the ham. I've had that, and that's the way to do it. So, like, God, now that I'm talking about it, ham is A tier. I am kind of shocked. But now that I think about that ham that I had, oops, we scrolled up by mistake. Now I'm thinking about, like, the couple times that I had ham as, like, the main topping on a pizza. It was real good. All of these looks like questionable one-topping pizzas for things that we better in a moderation. Yes, Lord Crashington. So part of this is I'm not going to say, oh yeah, onion pizza. This photo of this onion pizza has other stuff on it, right? Just like olives. I don't think you're going to get that. I'm thinking of the ingredient, and I am weighing the fact that often these ingredients are not the only thing on a pizza. When we get to pineapple, I am taking into consideration both pineapple pizza and pineapple and ham. I will take that into consideration. In the same way that, like, a supreme pizza has jalapenos. Generally, you would not get a jalapeno pizza if you're getting a quote-unquote Mexican pizza. You're also getting onion. You're getting bell peppers as well. Here's the thing. And this is where I'm sure some people will go, but Pat, it's so good. I don't like jalapenos because I don't want my pizza to be spicy. So jalapenos is D tier. Like, I would rather have, I'll say this. This is the way that I can decide between D and C. I would rather have anchovies on a pizza. I would rather have bell peppers on a pizza, even if it was just bell peppers. I do not want any jalapenos in any circumstance on my pizza because it would make it spicy. And I do not want a spicy pizza. Pizza is savory, and it should not be spicy, in my opinion. There's a lot of foods that can be spicy, and I can deal with it. But when I bite into pizza, I don't want to be like, no, thank you. Meatballs. Huh. I've had meatball pizza before. I think that meatball really depends on the size of them. Yes, it's Rekka. Yes, that's very true. Like, if you just get you get your one pizza slice and it has one giant piece of meatball on it, but smaller meatballs, yeah. This appears to be meatballs that have been sliced, which is, to me, the way to go. Instead of, like, little tiny balls, you just do a slice of meatball. It's different, of course, from ground beef. It's similar but different for, like, a hamburger pizza. And yeah, meatball pizza. I think meatball is B tier. I would not be upset about a meatball pizza, but I'm not going to pick it over other things. So I think meatball is B. And again, I'll come back to it. And Lord Crash says that kind of offends me in my Italian heritage. Yeah, I mean, meatball on a pizza is probably food crimes for some folks. I've had it. A slice of meatball on there I think is great because the meatball has a different texture than ground beef, of course, because it has been packed into a ball and cooked that way instead of just a bunch of ground beef that was done on a skillet and then or raw beef, but generally you do that. You prefer sausage-sized meatballs. Yeah. I like the slice. Mushrooms. Are mushrooms C tier? So mushrooms in a not meat lovers, veggie lovers, mushrooms in a Philly cheesesteak pizza, mushrooms and like chicken in a pizza. There are plenty of things where I would say, yeah, I wouldn't want mushrooms on its own in a pizza. So is that B tier or C tier? We're going to put this in C tier, and it may move later. I may change my mind about mushrooms, but I like mushrooms in some pizzas. But I wouldn't want mushrooms. Okay, there we go. I wouldn't want mushrooms on their own. So it fits in with anchovies and bell peppers, where I'm like, I don't hate mushrooms on a pizza, so it's not in D tier. But I don't, just mushrooms, I'm like, But if mushrooms were the other things, I'm like, yeah. So C tier feels right. Olives are kind of similar to mushrooms. I wouldn't mind eating just olives on a pizza because you get that saltiness. Pepperoni and olive is my go-to. Okay, yeah. Pepperoni and olive, that sounds good. I mean, I like I said, one of my favorites is onion and sausage. Green olives, okay. I think green olives have their place. I prefer black olives myself, but I understand. So I would say olives go in C tier, but olives could move up to B tier at the end. We're going to put olives in B tier. There are a lot of pizzas where a topping of olives would be great, and I wouldn't be mad if it was just olives. Here, obviously represented by black olives, but we'll include other olives as well. And I mentioned Greek olives and feta and like chicken or lamb would be great for like a Greek pizza, or onion in there as well. And then onions. Onions are B tier. Because I've mentioned bacon and onion, one of my favorite kinds of pizza, because the bacon grease gets absorbed by the onion and you get this really tasty, a great crunch a lot of times, which is nice. A crunch that's not dehydrated meat crunch, and that's a little tough to get. Great with peppers, great with like a cheesesteak kind of pizza, very versatile. I would say I would probably want them diced more than sliced the way these onions are. But I understand it. I get it. Yeah, all right. Also, when they're diced up, sometimes like the inner piece of the onion might be really kind of crunchy because they didn't fully cook. So a little on the raw side, and I don't mind that. Hey, pepperoni is S tier. Extra cheese was really lonely at S tier, but guess what? Pepperoni. I like pepperoni any way I can get it. The traditional slice like this, I think, is great. I've had pepperoni chunks. I think pepperoni chunks are really underrated because they are chewy in that way. John's Pizzeria, one of my favorite pizza places in New York. It's not the best pizza place in New York, but it's the easiest to get a table. Both locations for John's way easier than the ones that are better than them, and that means a lot to me. So, John's Pizzeria puts a little bit of marinara sauce on every pepperoni slice. That way the pepperoni does not dehydrate. The sauce, maybe even burns a little bit, but it doesn't really. It keeps them chewy. Some people love the dehydrated pepperoni, but for me, I do like the chew on it, and you also get more sauce that way, which is nice. Downside of pep is how greasy it makes everything. Yes, it's Rekka, but a chewy slice of pepperoni isn't going to get as greasy, which is another benefit to that little marinara method that I mentioned there. But yes, if you are going to get a slice of pepperoni, you do have to maintain the fold method, where you fold the pizza in half, and then you have to then put tissues in your hand, the palm of your hand, where the folded slice is going to go, because the fold is where all of the grease is going to drip out, and you don't want it on your hand and then rolling down your sleeve. So you got to also napkin up if you're going to do that, or if you have a your paper plate, then you have to like fold the paper plate in your hand so you can get an extra surface there. You may understand this by that description that I walked and ate pepperoni pizza quite a bit in my time in New York. Late night pizza place, late night slice on the way home from work, because I worked nights. It happened a lot. It happened a lot in my 20s, and it explains a lot of things about me. But pepperoni's A tier. What am I going to do? Pineapple. Pineapple can be on a pizza. I'm not saying that pineapple belongs on a pizza, but pineapple can be on a pizza. Pineapple and ham go together very well. You get the salty, you get the sweet. You can put pineapple on a pizza. Now, where do I put it on there? Yes, pineapple by itself is crazy. Pineapple with other things is good. So again, would I get a slice of just pineapple pizza? No. And I do have to take that in consideration when I'm looking at pizza toppings, right? Basil, like I said, basil isn't an S tier because basil on a regular pizza feels like unnecessary, but on some pizzas is incredible. So it goes in A tier. Ham could be on any pizza. Ham and pineapple together is really solid. All of these kind of on their own, like some of these, olives on their own probably actually isn't B tier, but you know what I mean. Same thing with onions. Bell peppers is kind of in C tier because the idea of just a pizza full of bell peppers, I'm like, even though I like bell peppers with other things. Same thing with mushrooms. The idea of these by themselves keeps them in C tier. You made a surprising amount of olives only pizza. Yeah, that's wild to me, but they're so good. Meep says one of my guilty pleasures is local to me pizza called Sassy Hawaiian, which is bacon, ham, pineapple, feta cheese, and smoky tomato sauce. Huh. Okay. I don't hate that, Meep. I don't hate that. I don't know if I would get a Sassy Hawaiian, but I respect it. So pineapple, where do I put... Can I put pineapple? Okay, so it's definitely not D tier. It's not C tier. It's between B and A to me. Because, again, the idea of just pineapple on a pizza, I'm not doing that. So it can't be an S tier. If I can't eat you by yourself on a thing, there's no way you could be an S tier. For me. Yeah, right. You know what? Honestly, yeah. Did I expect that I would be doing this when I looked at this list? No. Yeah, okay. Pineapple goes next to ham. Yeah. Pineapple is A tier. Okay, again, these are not final. Once I look at the whole picture, things might move around. But, I don't feel right putting pineapple in B tier. But do I want... Ooh, wow, well, there you go. There it goes. See, this is... We'll come back to this later. I can't do this right now. Bacon being lower than pineapple doesn't feel right for me. I'm going to come back to that later. Plain, S tier. Just a slice of pizza? Look, the worst pizza I've ever had was still pizza, and it was okay. I have never had pizza that I didn't go, well, the cheese was good, or the sauce was pretty good, or, oh, it's crispy. I've had, fucking cardboard ass crust that sucks and sauce that tastes like just tomatoes that weren't cooked. And then the cheese was good. And I have a pizza where I was like, this cheese is not great, but the sauce is really good. And the crust was okay. And I have a crust where I'm like, how did you cook this crust perfectly, but you're using tomato sauce that tastes awful? What are we doing here? And there's not enough cheese on here. What are we doing here? But some of my favorite pizza that I've ever had in my life is just a slice of pizza, a plain slice of cheese pizza. Some of my favorite pizza in the world. If you find yourself on Worcester Street and you want to go to Sally's or Pepe's or I think it's in the basement is the place. It's one of the two. Has a secondary place on Worcester Street. Worcester Street pizza is just a style of old-ass Italian pizza in Connecticut. When people say Connecticut pizza, they're talking about one street and the people that work there that went other places. You're like, oh, well, Wallingford pizza. Wallingford pizza is just Worcester Street pizza, but it's people from one of those places that moved to Wallingford, Connecticut, and started doing it. It is old world. It is, yes, Italian Americans made pizza that we think of when we think of pizza. But then other old-ass Italians showed up and moved to Connecticut because New York was full of Italians and they were turned away and they moved to Connecticut and they had wood-burning ovens and they made a regular size pizzas. And you can get toppings there if you want to get toppings there. But you can just get a cheese pizza and it's going to be great. So yeah, cheese pizza goes there. What about Pittsburgh pizza? I have never had Pittsburgh style pizza, Lord Crashington. That is probably a different list, talking about the different regions of the country. Your Detroit style, your Chicago tavern, your Chicago deep dish, your New York style, California style, the various pizzas. St. Louis has their own pizza stuff that I have heard of but never had. That's a different list. I just want to talk about like how I saw that Connecticut put a bunch of signs on their highways trolling the states around them. Yes, Lord Gratian. Here's the thing. Connecticut is the best pizza for me, but it's next to the second best pizza in New York. And they're still both incredible. I just give a bit of an edge to Worcester Street style Connecticut pizza. And again, when I say Connecticut, I'm only speaking about Worcester Street style pizza. And when I'm talking about New York, it's really Brooklyn style, but now everybody in New York does Brooklyn style. Sausage is S tier. Sausage is so good. Like, sausage is a topping where you do not need other toppings other than cheese. Of course, you understand what I'm saying. You can do the crumbly sausage. You can do the sliced sausage. I think both of them have their place. The crumbly sausage that has also some herbs in it, and like fennel seeds for whatever reason. I used to get in New York, there was one place, most New York places did the sliced style, which I think is fine, but is not my preferred. I still love it. But there was one place in Brooklyn that did crumbly sausage of the entire pie. The slice of pizza was heavy because of all of the goddamn sausage that this pie was covered in. The cheese was just like, there was cheese, but it was a sausage pizza. So that's S tier for me. Spinach. Spinach is so wet, right? Like, it's just got so much, even when it's like, yeah, it's just, I can almost understand people that want broccoli. You know, I've seen people get broccoli on a pizza, like sausage and broccoli, or like broccoli rabe, which is broccoli rabe is like broccoli but spinach. It's like in between broccoli and spinach. Like, I can almost see that with like a heavy cured salty meat. Like, I can almost get that. Chicken and spinach on a pizza, I just don't want it. When I think about when people were like, oh, well, we've got spinach left. Alfredo with a white sauce. So it's Rekka, you did say white sauce. A white pizza with spinach, I can kind of get behind. A white pizza and spinach, I think there's a place for that. I do think there's a place for that. That makes it C tier. It's not in D tier because if it's in there, if it's in a white pizza, especially like I said with sausage, like I can vibe with that. I can get it. I would not want it by itself, so it can't be in B tier. You just can't go out of there. Steak. Like this photo? No. But I've mentioned this several times in conversation here, that a steak, like a Philly steak pizza, I have really liked that. You know, you're throwing on mozzarella, you're also throwing on provolone, you're having your steaks, your sliced steak, you're going to have peppers and onions on there as well. Yeah, there's a place for steak that looks like a strip of steak to get on each slice. Yeah, I think that's like, you kind of want to shred it and then toss it on there, right? I've had the Philly style Philly steak, but with ground beef, and that I think is also totally acceptable. In that respect, that almost makes it more like a hamburger steak kind of thing. Would I want just steak on a pizza? No. But with other things, yeah. So steak goes in B tier. Yeah, okay. We're going to put that in B tier. Put that there. And the last thing is tomatoes. Now, would I want just sliced tomatoes? Like even sun-dried tomatoes? Sliced tomatoes like that? where I'm convinced that those are raw tomato slices put on top of the pizza. No. But slices of tomato, and basil and mozzarella, like that. Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. The slice is almost always sloppy. Yes, meat. That is going to be a wet pizza, which I don't like. Which is like, even if you just put it on top raw at the end, baking it is going to take away some of the moisture, which would be beneficial. Sun-dried tomatoes. I've certainly had sun-dried tomatoes with chicken and sun-dried tomatoes on a pizza, and I think that has worked very well. I am going to put tomatoes in C tier because the idea of them by themselves is a no-go for me, but it's good in a bunch of other things. And I think that's very clear about C tier. Everything in C tier, with the exception of anchovies. Anchovies are in C tier because I would eat them. So they don't go in D tier. But I can't put anchovies in B tier. But yeah, jalapenos are the only D, the only like no thanks. We got to look at this, right? Because like I said, extra cheese, pepperoni, anchovies are F tier for me, having had to make pizzas with them and smelling them. I mean, it's Rekka. As someone, you worked in a pizza place, that does change things dramatically for you, and I totally understand that. The brief time that I've worked in kitchens, in a kitchen, I should say, did make me appreciate some foods in ways I didn't before. God damn it. I have gotten, this is now my, I want to say 10th text message that I've received today about matching donations and political nonsense. A bunch of urgent. Kamala Harris really needs me to donate money, which she's been doing pretty great with it, but okay. But yeah, I'm just getting a ton of text. Sorry, I have to look at my text messages, and they're all that. No, the kitchen when I worked in a kitchen, I had a newfound respect for how some foods are awful and some foods are great and they're worth the trouble. But I can totally understand why the smell of anchovies would make them F tier for you. Yes. Sorry, Meep. We're not going to get into too much about it. This is an alternative to a television program that's running tonight. But I did. It just came up and it annoyed me. Extra cheese, pepperoni, plain sausage, all S tier. Feels right to me. Basil, ham, pineapple. Is basil too high? Basil is too high because just basil on a pizza is not A tier. Basil in a bunch of things is very good, but just basil is not A tier to me, and I don't think it can live there. So we're gonna put it there. And you're right, it's Rekka. As we started looking at this, bacon came in pretty early, and I put bacon too low because bacon on its own on a pizza is great. Bacon with onion, as I said, one of my favorite kinds of pizza. Bacon with pepperoni and sausage, like heavy on the meat. I think bacon as your only meat with a bunch of vegetables. Bacon is A tier. I can't put pineapple in A tier and not put bacon in A tier. Also, you know what's good? Bacon and pineapple. If you want something a little different from ham and pineapple, bacon and pineapple is a great combo. And then our B tier, chicken. Chicken has its place. I think that's fine. Bacon and pineapple is better than with ham. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a different vibe, but I think it works. Garlic is B tier. Meatballs are B tier. Meatballs could, in another world, be A tier, but not today. Olives are A tier. Onion by itself, I would not want, which is why, in my opinion, Meep, onion is B tier. I understand that, like, bacon, if it was bacon and onion, that's S tier for me. But like Remy says, olives are F tier. Otherwise, this is great. And I hear what you're saying. Onion, to me, on its own, I wouldn't want in a pizza. Olives, I think, complement so many kinds of pizza that I can't put them low because I think there's so many pizzas that benefit from having onion there or olives there. Steak, like I said, there are a variety of steak pizzas that are great. Steak on its own, I would not want. It can't do better than that. Basil, I think, is in the right position in B. Anchovies, like I said, I don't want to put anchovies in D tier because I've only had it once and I didn't hate it. And I actually was like, oh, I'll eat these again. And it's never come up again for me. But I didn't hate it. So I'm going to keep that in C tier. I've had anchovies in other things and enjoyed it as well. Bell peppers, again, the idea of a pizza full of bell peppers is a no, but bell peppers are good in other things. Same with mushrooms. Tomatoes, jalapenos are in D tier. You know what? Actually, honestly, when I think about it, the pizzas that I have had that have also had spinach in them were not great, and spinach did not make those pizzas better. And the idea of a spinach pizza, it's like, what are we making, a quiche? What are we doing here? Spinach goes to D tier. It's not as bad as jalapenos. If there was a D plus tier. No, jalapenos stay there. As I said, I don't want my pizza spicy. I just don't. I do not want a spicy pizza. Pizza is not a thing that I want to be like, oh yeah, ooh, the heat coming off this pizza. I want this because it just came out of the oven, not because I'm like, oh, I need to eat bread. Oh wait, there's bread. I mean, that is convenient that you could just eat bread that's already on the pizza. You just eat the crust. But like, nah, I don't want my pizza. That's just me. For other people, this list would be definitely different. Meep doesn't like bell peppers. To me, bell peppers have a great crunch and are a fine addition to pizza. I wouldn't want them alone, but in a bunch of different things, I think bell peppers are great. Oh yeah, some people, I mean, there are people that love putting sriracha on their pizzas, that love putting a Tabasco on there. Yeah. There are plenty of people, that folks out there that love a spicy pizza. That's just not me. That's not how I want my pizza. And I respect it. It's just not where I'm at. I think I love how long this took. That's what I've been noticing about doing these lists is like some of them are just like, I mean, honestly, when we did the first one we've done 2 in an hour. The deadlock one, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I have vibes, whatever. This one, I was like, no, I need to think about this. Am I putting basil too high? Am I being too respectful to spinach? Is bacon B tier? What am I saying? I'm a simple pizza boy, so most of this doesn't appeal to me. I hear you, Lord Crashington. Like I said, my favorite pizza is just extra cheese pizza or plain pizza or one topping pizza. Like a meat on a pizza is great. That's often all I want. Bacon and onion also, that's not McDonald's. That's not my McPizza order. That's my Domino's order because Domino's is never going to be great, but their toppings are usually pretty okay. All right. Let's do a simple one that I think we can all get behind. I think we can all agree. This is Among Us characters by color, and the 2 categories here are S tier and sus tier. Sus, 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 S tier, sus, and sus. Yeah. This all makes sense for yeah, right? Thinking about this with their vampire survivor abilities. Yes. Okay, Lord Grashna, yes. Look, this one literally did have like 5 tiers, and I edited this one because I thought this was a good silly gag. This is for the folks that would be here an hour into this Tiermaker stream. This one's for you. Because I was just like, why would you make this list? I love the idea of I just like the red one, which is actually honestly the one that's pretty much always sus in my opinion. That honestly, the red one, I would always be like, when I played this, I was always like, oh, you're red? I bet you're an alien. Yeah, that one's dumb. I know. Also, this list got made in 2020, which to me also feels like exactly the right time to make that list. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Let's do a different. Let's jump to a different list than this one. Let's get confrontational because people are gonna have fucking opinions on this one, and people are gonna get mad at me for some of my opinions on controllers, gaming. We're doing it. One thing that's very funny to me is for some of these, I'm like, now which one is this? Because there are a couple Xbox controllers where I'm like, what Xbox controller is this one? So that'll be fun. Okay, so Switch controllers, the Switch Joy-Cons. We're starting off early, and I don't know how I'm going to exactly feel about this. Obviously, this is not a comprehensive one here. We don't have every controller in existence. We got a lot of controllers here. They are small. There is a better way to control them later on this list. So I'm going to go with B, because I don't hate them as much as some people do, but I don't love them as much as some people say they do. So we're going to go with B. It could change. It could totally change. This is the Xbox 360 wireless controller, not to be confused with the Xbox 360. Wait, that's the Xbox controller later. That's the Xbox S controller. This is the 360 controller because it's wireless. I think I'm right here. I think that's the better Xbox controller. And this is the 360, or both of these are the 360? I don't know. The 360 controller that is wireless. That's an S tier controller. There is a reason why PC controllers are like that. It hates being near a router. Well, that's a bummer. There's a reason why when you think of the last one is the original Xbox redesign. Okay, that's an Xbox controller. Okay, great. That's the better one. That's not the Duke. There's a reason that that controller was replicated so many. That controller, in part because of Halo, but also because of the way it felt, became the controller. That's the game controller. There's a reason why this thing with its like dongle that you had to use so you could plug it into USB. There's a reason why this one is like, so like why all Xbox controllers that come after it are kind of just like, hey, it's the 360 controller, but we did a little more to it. I understand what you're saying, it's Rekka, and we'll probably come to that later. So, but to me, that's S tier. Now the Duke. I got an Xbox for Halo, so I definitely had the Duke. And I want to say I bought for my second controller a third-party controller that was smaller than the Duke, and I thought that was better. And so I used my third-party Mad Catz controller over the Duke because the Duke is heavy. I do remember liking the thumbstick, but the controller is just heavy. Now, is it a deal breaker? No, but yes, but no. It's C tier. I don't think it's D tier, but it's definitely not good. There's a reason why I keep thinking you're going to say Dookie. No, the Duke. There's a reason why people called that thing a potato and why they made another one. The SNES controller is a better controller than the NES controller because it's a little contoured. Nostalgia is telling me that the SNES controller felt good in my hands. I bet it didn't. Side buttons I thought were good. I did think it didn't feel terrible in the hand. This is still where I don't love a directional pad. The directional pad that'll come later when I finally started liking Nintendo's directional pad. That's me. I should say I am 44. I have held every one of these controllers. I owned most of these systems. If I haven't owned a system, I have at least played using the controller for everything on this list. Yes, I have owned a Saturn controller, despite never owning a Saturn. I did have the controller. I'll explain it when we get there. SNES controller is B tier, but no, it's A tier. It's A tier. It's still good. I still think it's really good, but I can't put it there. Yes, the buttons weren't always the most comfortable, but they were better than the NES buttons. This one, because this has got to be the PS5 one. How many of these controllers have you seen at PAX? I've seen a lot of them at PAX, and especially in the classic console space. This one's got to be the PS5, right? Because this is the PS3, or this is the PS3. No, this is the PS3 because it's got a wire. This is the PS4 because it doesn't have a wire. That makes this the PS5. I think the PS5 controller is pretty good. Yeah, I think the PS5 controller is comfortable. It's fine. All right, okay, so the Duke has to go in D tier, and yeah, okay, so this is where we're at now. That's the is that the PS4 controller? Is it? Is that, okay. Vash says that this is the PS4 controller. I mean, that's pretty much where I'm going to put it. This is missing PS5 and Xbox controllers. Okay, so this is the PS4 controller, which I also like, and I would put in 4. You're right. This is the wireless PS3 controller. This is the wired PS3 controller. That's what it is. You're right. We don't have the latest when this was made. Okay, that's what it was. Sega Saturn. So you're asking yourself, Pat, why would you have Yeah, you don't like the stick placement. I understand the thumbstick, the thumbstick being in there. Is the wired one the PS2 controller? Okay, so that's what it is. This is the PS3 controller. This is the PS2 controller. This is the original PlayStation controller. This is the PlayStation controller when they added thumbsticks. Yes, the PS2 is this black one. I know these are both PS1s. This is the PS2 one. Okay. Yeah. Why did I own a Saturn controller without a Saturn? Because the Dreamcast controller, which we'll talk about when we get to it, only had 4 buttons, and you could use the triggers as buttons. But how are you going to play Marvel vs. Capcom 2? How are you going to play those great 6-button fighting games with only 4 face buttons? Well, you import, or you get from a third-party US developer eventually, adapters, and you get Sega Saturn adapters, controller adapters. One end plugs in your Dreamcast, the other end plugs into a Sega Saturn plug, and you can use your Sega Saturn. But eventually, they did make 6-button Dreamcast ones that were the whitish gray, and were official, and then also unofficial. But at first, if you wanted to play a 6-button fighter, you needed to get, and you had a Genesis controller, a Saturn controller, you needed that. The Saturn controller is a great 6-button. The directional pad, some people hate. I think it's a big improvement over the Genesis. To me, that's a A-tier controller. The 6-button for fighting games just felt right and made sense. The Genesis controller, I always hated. There was something about the buttons, the button feel always made me mad. I didn't like the directional pad for it. I I'm convinced that's why I didn't like a lot of games for the Genesis, was because of the Genesis controller. It's not D tier, but it's definitely not B tier for me. The Wii U gamepad is kind of fucking awesome and also sucks. And so I don't know where to put this on the list. It's such a cool idea. The idea that, surprised they don't have the 3 and 6 button Genesis control. Oh yeah, the other Genesis controls, yeah. It's great for Mario Maker. It's great for Zombie U before it became the other game that has another name. It's honestly kind of cool to play games on it, on the screen. You know, in your, that's kind of neat. There's something about it. And it's Rekka, yes. The Switch is the better Wii U because it's all in one thing. Whereas the Wii U is a controller that also is has a stylus, and it's weird. And they didn't make enough games that, because you needed to have one with a console, so they could have made more games where that was like special. But instead, sometimes people were like, "Well, we're playing Mario Kart. I don't want to use the Wii U. You know, I don't want that. I want a controller. I want a joystick in a fucking wheel more than I want that. Not a joystick, a Joy-Con in a wheel, a Wiimote in a wheel. That's what I'm talking about. So I guess it evens out to. I'm going to come back to this one. Right now it's in B tier. The gamepad is so weird in a way that I kind of love, but I don't think I could put it in A tier, but also maybe it's not B tier. Maybe it is A tier. I don't know yet. I also am maybe thinking too nostalgically about the SNES controller, because when I held one a couple years ago at PAX, I was like, oh yeah, oh fuck. So I think I may have ranked that too high. We'll figure it out at the end. The second revision of the PS1 controller. This is where they added dual thumbsticks. They put them in the middle because they reasoned that the directional buttons belonged where they were, and you wanted to have both sticks by the thumbs because it's this added. Some people can't ever deal with it. They just don't like PlayStation controllers because they don't like where the two thumbsticks are. I kind of like where the thumbsticks are. But I also don't think this is a good controller. So I'm going to put this in C tier. Because, yeah, I don't think this is a B tier controller. I don't hate it like I hate this one. We're just going to jump ahead. This controller sucks. Fighting games, what are we doing here? Even with directional buttons? No. Any kind of game. Racing games, nothing felt good. I don't think that the hand feel was good for this. Nobody knew what to use those sticks for, says Lord Craftsman. Yeah, people hadn't figured out. There were games that came out for PlayStation that you just couldn't use those sticks because they didn't know they were going to exist there. Or they didn't know what to do with it. Okay, so this is not the device you have for the Joy-Cons. This is the Pro controller for the Switch. Remember the era of 3D games with camera controls and the shoulder buttons? Yeah, Lord Crashington, that's not good. Okay, here's the thing. The Switch Pro controller is fun to use. It's got the directional buttons, I think, the joysticks are in a good spot. The buttons are good. The triggers feel good. It feels good in your hand. It, quote unquote, allows you to, quote unquote, again, play real games on your Switch and feel like you're just holding another controller. I'm going B tier. And again, we're gonna adjust this stuff because it is not, some stuff in here isn't right. The wired PlayStation 3 controller, which may or may not be the DualShock. Yes, it does last forever. The only see, this is fun. It's Rekka says important thing about Pro Controller, it lasts forever. The only rechargeable controller that has ever had the battery die on me. I've had several 360 rechargeable battery packs die on me. But I'm sorry that happened to you, Lord Crash. So I think this is the wired PlayStation 3 controller that didn't have the DualShock, because I think that was at first they didn't have. I think that this is okay. So Lord Crash is telling me that this is a PlayStation 2 controller. That's what it is, and this is the PS3 controller. Okay, this is the PlayStation 2 controller because it's wired. Is this the PlayStation 2 controller that is wireless, or is this the PS3 controller? Okay. The PlayStation 2 controller is pretty good. Okay, so that's the PS3. All right. The PlayStation 2 controller is pretty good. I like it a lot. Is it A tier for me? The buttons were really good. Triggers felt really good. The trigger buttons felt good. Button layout is pretty good. Thumbsticks are good. Yeah. I remember the PlayStation 2 cable was long. It wasn't the longest cable, but it was a good length. I remember that being very important. I had an extender for my NES controller. We're putting it in A tier because I like it better than the PlayStation 4 controller. Or the PlayStation, yeah. So it's going in A tier. I think that's right. I think that's good. For now, I think that's good. The era where wires couldn't be long enough, so we got rid of them. Yes. GameCube controller. Look. There's so much that's bad about the GameCube controller. GameCube is S tier. People were cowards about the buttons. So here's the thing. There's a controller that is, there's plenty of controllers not on the list. There is a controller that is not on this list that is S tier. And that is the Wavebird. The Wavebird is one of my favorite controllers of all time. It felt great. It was wireless, and the battery lasted the batteries lasted forever. It always worked. You could have 4 Wavebirds and they all worked. And for Nintendo, in the GameCube era, to have 4 Wavebirds and have them always work because of the radio frequency, that you could just change them and you were in control of it and you didn't make them figure it out. That's so good. GameCube was such a relief after the N64 controller. People give it too much credit. I can see that, sad fat man. So the Wavebird for me is S tier. I can't put the GameCube controller in S tier. I can put a Wavebird in S tier, but I can't put the GameCube controller in S tier. How did we get away with no radio wave cancer conspiracies? Yeah, it's amazing. I think because the GameCube flew under the radar of people. You know what I mean? I think it didn't do as well enough for it to have controversies. I'm putting the GameCube controller in A tier. I think the nubbin is way better than people give it credit for. I love look, here's the thing. As a person that took a long time to understand how to touch buttons on a controller without looking at it. As a child, A and B was fine. When we got to SNES, oof. I did bad with the SNES. I had a bad time with the SNES controller and where the 4 buttons were and my thumb figuring that out without looking. I knew where the buttons were on the GameCube. But yes, the nubbin is tough. The D-pad is a little small because I think Nintendo was convinced no one was going to use the D-pad because they were like, well, everyone loves an analog stick, so we'll just do that. Oh, yeah, they're fine with radio waves. Yes. Again, this list is going to get moved around once we start looking at it. I can already see 2 things that I want to move. The NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System controller, is terrible. There's nostalgia, of course. Of course I have a lot of nostalgia. It never felt good. My hands would hurt after using it. It's not ergonomic at all. You just end up with like hands like this, and it's like it feels awful. Lord Crash is in. I cannot get into that. That I cannot think about that, but that is very funny. Look, it didn't feel good to hold. It didn't feel good to use. I think it was a bad controller. The NES Advantage, I think, rules. But the NES controller, look, I can't put it in D tier. But I think it's a C tier. Is it D tier? We'll come back to it. It's definitely not B above. The NES controller fucking is just, I would never want to use it. Controllers shouldn't have corners, is what I'm saying. It shouldn't have corners at all. The edges make the NES controller not age well. Yeah, you shouldn't have edges on a controller. Okay. Holding it like this, holding the N64 controller like this is bad. Holding it like this is good. Having your thumb on the thumbstick and the trigger was great for some games. And the A and B buttons were good place. So it's fun. You never held it the center handle even for the stick. See, the center with the Z button, oh, that's some good stuff. That's really fun. Holding it like a regular controller, where you have a thing sticking out the middle, the C buttons are bad. The C buttons are where everything fucking falls apart for me. I don't even mind the shoulder buttons, which never felt great never felt great to me. You could make it a 6-button controller. Also, yes, the N64, in hindsight, that controller makes mapping to regular controllers a nightmare, and it's terrible, and there's no good way around it. You have to have the adapter for USB 1 for a for an N64 controller. If you want to play N64 games, in my opinion. It's not good, and nobody should be psyched about it. The stick is bad. Yes, the stick is bad. I don't hate it as much as I hate other things. Can I fucking put it in? I can't put it in B tier. But like I said, when you were holding in the center, and you were using your thumb on the thumbstick, and you're like going for it. There are games where that feels so right. So it's C tier. But I don't hate it. The best way is to get a Retro Fighter controller with a modern layout. Yeah, totally. Dreamcast controller is A tier. Dreamcast controller cannot be S tier. It cannot be S tier because of the cord placement. The cord placement coming out towards you, but that's not where the console is. The console's over here. The console is over here. So you got to put the cord there because the cord should come out of the top, but then they came up with the VMU thing, which we'll get to. So you can't put the cord anywhere. You can't, the cord, if the Dreamcast had figured out wireless technology, it would be S tier. It would be S plus tier. Because the VMU slot is unbelievable. The VMU slot is incredible. You can play a little game on there sometimes. You got a Chow Garden you can go check in on. It's your say you keep it on the controller. It's so cool. I think the D-pad I thought felt good. I thought the thumbstick, the analog stick felt good. I think the placement of them, where it's not directly off, it's a little, it's not on top of each other. You got a little distance there, but you can do it. I thought the buttons always felt good. If the Dreamcast was 6 buttons and not 2 triggers, then it moves up to S tier for me as well. Because like I said, there were Dreamcast games where you wanted that 6 buttons. And so I made that happen. But yeah, I love the Dreamcast controller. When I saw a white 360 controller, not this black 360 controller, or here, not this black one. When I saw the white Xbox 360 controller wired for the first time, I was like, this reminds me of the Dreamcast. And that is a compliment. You need to add Game Boy Advance as a controller because you use it on the GameCube, right? Yes, a sad fat man. The GameCube the Game Boy Advance as a GameCube controller is pretty okay. There were some games where that was totally acceptable, especially obviously Game Boy games. That was nice. Again, Wavebird lives here. Just remember that Wavebird is S tier, but we don't have Wavebird on this list. Yeah, Dreamcast is. I've been looking at this ahead. I'm putting Dreamcast in A tier. I love the Dreamcast controller. It feels great. We're like, well, Pat, when's the last time that you touched one? Probably 5 years ago. Probably 2019 at a PAX. I played some Dreamcast stuff and I had a great time with it. The Wii Nunchuck and Wiimote. Where do I even put that? When they worked well together, they were great. When the pointer worked, it was great. Wii Sports, obviously, incredible. There's something about it. Okay, so one time, I went over to a friend's house. They had the Wii U. We were hanging out, and they were like, oh, do you want to like play some Mario Kart? And I was like, yeah, all right, sure. And I got, and it was like, I only have 2 Wiis and 1 nunchuck. Do you want nunchuck or just the Wii controller? And I was like, I'll just use the Wii controller. I've played Mario Kart with the Wii controller. You turn it sideways. I think it's fine. Yes, holding it like an NES controller, not the best. And my friend took the Wii Mote and the nunchuck and laid down, sprawled out, completely sprawled out, just like, and played with their hands at their side. They didn't play like this. They didn't play using motion. They played with the connecting cable draped over their lap at their side and whooped my ass in Mario Kart. They played like if they could lean back, they would have been 100% comfortable. They could have played with their neck weird and it would have been fine. And I was like, what other controller lets you play with your arms just completely limp for no reason and still allow you to do everything you want to do? That's kind of fucking great. And Joy-Cons, you can do that as well. Joy-Cons, you can do that. If the buttons on the Joy-Con and the directional pad on the Joy-Con felt better, they would be in B tier because of that lazy gamer. Another thing you can do with the Switch that is kind of rad is you can, if you play it on a plane and you have it on your like tray table, you can have your arms like in your lap and you don't have to like be in a weird position with your arms like this trying to play. So that is a step up for the Joy-Cons, but I think the directional buttons just feel terrible on a Joy-Pad. So a Joy-Con, so they can't go higher than C. But here's the thing. When directional controls don't work, it feels like shit. I think the Wiimote is held back by the games that did not use it well. Yeah, it's Rekka. You know, obviously there's a delay in the stream, so as you're typing this, I was saying it, but you were ahead of me because of the delay. It feels so bad when the directional shit doesn't work, or when you're just like, I've got this, and I'm playing a video game that wasn't designed with this in mind, and was put it out because the Wii is popular. And this feels like shit. And I guess I need the other controller. And I did eventually have that. I did have the Pro controller, and it was good for regular games. I'm going to put it because Wii Sports rules. And Wii Sports, it doesn't rule if you can't go like this to bowl. Bowling sucks. I have never liked a bowling game before or after Wii Sports Bowling. Wii Sports Bowling is so fucking good that it makes the Wii Remote and the Nunchuck A tier. And I did not go into this thinking I was going to put that in A tier. Because it makes it feel... Tennis works. And it shouldn't. But tennis works with a Wiimote. It shouldn't at all, but it definitely fucking does. And the Link archery game is actually pretty fucking good. Okay, PS3 controller. Bluetooth? It works. It works with a computer. It feels pretty good. It's got that like back sensor thing that doesn't suck. It doesn't suck. The back sensor is pretty cool. Almost no one takes advantage of it, but it's pretty cool. It's B tier. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not A tier. It's pretty good. PlayStation, I understand why some people went with PlayStation 3 controller as their controller for many years. In the same way that for me, the 360 controller is the fucking controller. Xbox later revision, not the Duke, the later revision of the Xbox controller is an S tier controller. It's a really good controller. The little the grenade buttons, as I like to call them, because that's when you use them. The grenade buttons just always felt good. It always felt good. Is that nostalgia for me a little bit? Because that was such a good time? Maybe. But the controller felt good. And like, this is a controller that to me was I remember Halo nights. Halo days. Some Halo 2, mostly Halo. My friend Terry, I've talked about this on stream before, but my friend Terry would invite people over to play Halo. He had an Xbox. Our friend brought his Xbox because he bought an Xbox to have it so we could have more than 4 people. And we linked them together with Ethernet. And there was a projector in Terry's bedroom and a huge, giant-ass TV. He had a giant plasma TV, so when you had a fourth of that TV, you were fine for Halo. And we had the projector, and we plugged that in together. So we could have 8 people playing. We could do capture the flag with 4 and 4 in 2 different rooms. Or we could have everybody playing against each other in free-for-alls. And here's the thing. There were people that would be like, you know, I've never really like played a shooter on a console before. I played Nintendo stuff, or like I had a Genesis, but I didn't really play much of this. I'll come by. You guys get food and hang out, and it's all these people I like. Yeah, I'll do that. And so we had people who hadn't been playing modern games. They didn't play modern consoles that could figure it out. And the Xbox S, the Xbox controller, was the controller that they figured out how to like look around and strafe, and it was like, okay, there's triggers, and those right trigger shoots. Okay, that makes sense. And then I'm going to map it this way. And okay, oh no, you want to map it this way because this version of Halo, it's makes sense for you, and all that. And then if you're going to play a different game, you want to do it this way. And they're like trying to figure it out, and we're like watching people learn, quote unquote, at the time anyway, modern game controllers. And it's like how to use the two sticks and move around and all that. The people that are like, naturally their hands went to the directional button. You're like, no, you want to use the left. You want to use the left analog stick. You want to move around, and like trying to teach them all of that. They made the controller so good that it became standard. Yes, this became the thing. Like I said, people copied it. Nintendo was just like, I guess we're going to do that. We're going to like stop making our buttons off center, and we're just going to go with this. The Dreamcast, like I said, it's also a little bit stolen from the Dreamcast stuff, but like, yeah, it became the standard. It rules. And then the modern Xbox, not the newest, the last gen Xbox controller, which I have a knockoff of. I have this controller, which is a Amazon. No, this is not Amazon. It's not. I used to have the Amazon Basics version of this. They stopped making it. This is a Power A, and is a wired controller. It is not wireless. This does come out, but it's not wireless. USB controller. This is my knockoff Xbox controller for PC stuff because it's way cheaper. But it's like licensed knockoff because they paid for the X on it, but it's not an Xbox brand. It's like a second party, I guess. I don't know. This feels so good to play games on. This is a controller I play all my video games, be it retro stuff, modern stuff. It just feels good. The buttons feel good. The triggers feel good. Directional. The D-pad doesn't feel great. I used to have the Xbox 360 silver one that had the D-pad you could turn, and you could change between it being 8 directional and 4 directional, and that whipped ass. The one downside is I don't love the directional pad. The original one, or the actual one, I think the directional pad is a little bit better. The D-pad is a little bit better than the version I have. It's good. Where does it go on the list? He said it's A tier. It's A tier. It's A tier. Yeah, it's A tier. It's A tier. It does not match up with the other ones. It's good. But if you were to ask me which Xbox controller I would want, it wouldn't be this one. It would be the 360. I don't like it as much as the 360. I think that the fact that it doesn't, there's no contour in, there's no concave in on the controller. I don't love that as much as I love this kind of bend. Like this doesn't have the kind of, I don't know. It's just that it's not perfect. So it's not S tier. Now, I am wrong on some of these. Obviously, for you, I'm wrong on a lot of these. You, the collective you. For me, I've changed my mind about some of these things, and I'm going to fix some of those things now. This is not an S. This is a B tier. The SNES controller, that's my nostalgia talking. That is not an S. That is not an A tier controller. The Wii U gamepad is A tier because I just love it. I just love it. And the Joy-Cons are B tier. Yeah. There's a bit of a gap between this B tier and this B tier, but I think the Joy-Cons are B tier. This feels right. This feels right. God, the fucking Duke. This feels right. Yeah. I can't in good conscience. I certainly could put this in S tier. Stick drift should put Joy-Cons in F tier. Look, a lot of these controllers just fucking have a lot of problems, which sucks, that they need to fucking figure their shit out on. I agree with you. But I do think the Joy-Cons are pretty rad. I think the Joy-Cons are rad enough that the directional buttons take them, or the bad D-pad, it can't put an A, but it can live in B. I like the Joy-Cons way more than I like the NES or the NES controller and the 64 controller, so I can put those up there. Like I said, if there was something between B and C, maybe the Joy-Cons would be there. This feels right. This feels right. Look, again, if the Dreamcast controller had figured out where to put the cable, if they put the VMUs coming in on the bottom and the cable coming out of the top, then that's an S tier. That might be an S tier controller because the VMU rules so much. But the cable is so bad it can't be S. I can't put that in an S tier. All right. I'm feeling good about that. So we've got time for at least one more. I'm going to try to do one that I think is short so I can get 2 in. Can I do 2 short ones in 20 minutes? I think I can. That's 30. I want to do that one. That one's a lot. Okay, yeah, we'll do this one. Great. Wildcats tier list. It's just a bunch of cats. I have not looked at this list at all. So we're going on vibes for cats. I don't even think we're going to need... honestly, this is not the joke version of the Among Us ones. But like, I don't know why any of these cats would be anything less than A tier. I mean, that cat fucking rules. African golden cat. This weird 6-pack on the head. That's incredible. African wildcat. That just looks like... Some of these cats just look like... Here's the thing. Some of these cats just look like cats, and those are A tier. Any cat that just looks like a cat, even though it's wild, that's A tier. That just looks like a kitty. That whips ass. God, look at the coloring on that cat. Incredible. Cheetah's obviously S tier. This leopard kind of just looks like a kitty cat. So we're going to put it in A. Cougar, hell yeah. Just looks like a cat. Oh, no. Fishing cat looks like more than just a kitty cat. Okay. Hell yeah, jaguar. Leopard cat, you go in kitty cat. Regular leopard, you go there. Leopard is jaguars. Oh, hell yeah. Lion, of course, lion goes there. Lynx. Lynx, you go S tier, I think. Ocelot. Love you. Sandcat. Sandcat just looks like a cat that I've had in my life. You kind of... B tier. I don't like the look of that cat. Serval is so sad. Maybe it's just this photo. But this cat, I don't like the look of that cat. It's still B tier, but I can't say I like this cat as much as I like these cats. Snow leopard, obviously S tier. Tiger, obviously S tier. We can go down there. We got to put that there. Yeah. All right. So this is my wild cat ranking. The Serval just looks... I can't, in good conscience, put that in A tier with sand cats and black-footed cat. Can't go there. I mean, it's nothing lower than B. Serval has good ears. See, unfortunately, this photo does not tell me that, and I'm going by vibes. Does this look like a regular kitty? Does that look like a regular kitty? Yeah. All right. I feel better about that. Okay. It's a villain design. Okay. Yeah, I'm going with B tier on it then. And this is sorry, fishing cat. You got some cool coloring, but you're just a kitty there. And there's nothing wrong with being a kitty because kitty is obviously A tier, and goddamn cat is S tier. I've seen an ocelot at the zoo, And that was a terrifying looking cat. Lynx are kind of cool because they're cats that feel like they're like, lynx look like someone was like, well, we need cats for this fantasy world, but we want them to look a little different than regular wildcats. They're a WNBA team. Lynx feel like somebody fucked around with what we think cats are supposed to look like, and that's how they got a lynx. And I love that about them. All right, we do have time for one more, and I don't know what it's going to be though. All right, we're going to do breakfast foods, but I'm not going to be mad about. But I'm not going to take as much time with breakfast foods as I did with pizza. Cereal. We got S through D tier for our breakfast foods, 30 plus most popular breakfast items list. Cereal. The unbelievable B tier. Sometimes you don't want hot breakfast, but cereal is its own tier list. There's so many different kinds of cereal. They all kind of even out to be B tier. There are D tier cereals and S tier cereals. But cereal as a breakfast option, what's this, an omelet? I mean, omelets are classic. That's a classic A tier. Home fries? Yeah, home fries are great. Just an English muffin? I love an English muffin, but English muffin as breakfast? No, thank you. I don't need that. Is this supposed to be a bagel? Because we see croissant. Is this a weird bagel where it doesn't have a hole in the middle? Got to put an egg in the English muffin. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Just a breakfast, or is this a breakfast Danish? I'm going to put that there. I'll put that there. I don't know. Hey, I don't like muffins. I know that's weird to some of you that I don't like muffins. I like muffins with chocolate chips in them as a snack. I don't want a breakfast muffin. I just don't. Well, I think I ate too many bran muffins to like muffins. Avocado toast is weirdly pretentious to some people, and I don't know why, because I think that's pretty good. Sometimes you have bad avocado, and it's not good. But sometimes you get a great avocado, and it's very good. We're going to go with B. Cinnamon roll. Yeah, I like B. I like a cinnamon roll. No, get out of here. That's not breakfast. That's not, yeah, okay, that's a dessert, but I like it. But that's a snack. That's I need to eat one good thing at the buffet. I'm not having fucking mixed fruit cup. No. A little bit better is a parfait. That's a little bit better. The crunchy on top. If you got to go, that could be fun. Ham for breakfast with ham and eggs. Ham and eggs is underrated. A tier. Bacon is S tier. Of course it is. Fruit needs to be in a syrup. Yeah, definitely on pancakes or something. Yeah. What is this? Is this a hollandaise? Is this an Eggs Benedict? Eggs Benedict is really good. Eggs Benedict could be S tier. I'm putting an A tier. We'll go in the end. Baked beans, no thank you. Okay, I'm only gonna say this here. This is not me shitting on traditional British breakfast. I didn't experience it until I was 15 or 16 when I went to England and I had a traditional breakfast. I found out that I like blood sausage. I thought blood sausage was pretty all right. I had it well prepared and I thought it was pretty damn good in the morning with eggs. I tried the baked beans and all I could think of was, this does not belong in a breakfast to me. So that's D tier. A bowl of baked beans at breakfast, even with all the trimmings, I'm not interested. The sliced potatoes, the home fries style of potatoes, is S tier for me. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. What is this? Can anybody tell me? Is this a potato cake? I think this is a potato cake. Or yeah, potato pancakes. A latke. Oh yeah, that. Hey, potatoes are going to be A or S tier for me because I think fried or a fried potato is so good with eggs. This is sausage gravy. This is biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy is really good. I don't want it in a brunch, and I don't think I want it in a breakfast. But if it was in a platter, I would say okay. I'm going to put it in B tier. It's really heavy, and some of these breakfasts are heavy. This is going to be Canadian bacon or Hunter's ham, or oh god, there's a New Jersey has like it's a weird name for it. Canada doesn't eat it. We call it Canadian bacon because of immigrants and weird names in America. But this kind of like ham that's not ham is very good. I'm putting that in A tier. Breakfast sausages, traditional American breakfast sausages, that's S tier. Why do sausages taste good with maple syrup? Or just syrup in general? I don't know. That shouldn't taste good. A breakfast sausage dipped into your leftover syrup on the plate from your waffles or pancakes or whatever, French toast, shouldn't taste good, but it does. Sausage patty. If you are making a breakfast sandwich, a sausage patty saves you a lot of work. You don't have to take your sausages and slice them in half and hope they don't fall out of the sandwich. That's also S tier. Toast. I mean, I'm going to put toast in B tier. I don't fucking know. Oatmeal. Is this oatmeal? I think this is oatmeal. I want to say that's oatmeal. Sausage patty with some jelly on a biscuit. Yeah. Oh, and a biscuit. Sausage and biscuit. Yeah. Like that. I mean, I'm going to put this at D tier. There's a time and a place for oatmeal. And it was when I was a child in the winter. It was the winter time when I was a kid, and I would take raisins and put them in there when I made instant oatmeal in the microwave. So the raisins plumped up from being in the microwave and absorbing some of the liquid. And that's it. I don't want oatmeal. Fried eggs, S tier. You know what? Omelets are S tier too. I was going to do that later, but I'm fucking... And Eggs Benedict is S tier. What am I even talking about? Deviled eggs? What? No, get out of here. What? This is... No, I don't want that for breakfast. Is this supposed to be hard-boiled eggs and not deviled eggs? Maybe this is supposed to be hard-boiled eggs that they cut in half. But even if this isn't deviled eggs and it's just a boiled egg that they cut in half, I don't want that. They're not deviled yet. Yeah, but they're definitely cold. And I don't want that. Pancakes, S tier. Oops, that went to A tier. Pancakes are S tier. Come on. Pancakes. A stack of pancakes? Come on. French toast? I don't love French toast as much as some people do, but I still will tell you that is S tier. Even understanding they're not my favorite, I think I've had bad French toast too often. Hash brown, S tier. I'm telling you, potatoes are high on my list. I feel like the only thing I get at pancakes and French toast is guilt. Oh, yeah. See, I love a stack of pancakes. More potatoes going S tier. Love that. Why are these shredded potatoes in? Why did I put that in A tier? That's because it was early on. I wasn't feeling myself. Now I'm feeling myself. Bagels. I still don't know what this is, but it's not bagels. Here's the thing. With a bagel is A tier. An egg sandwich on a bagel, a breakfast sandwich, is great. Bagel on its own with cream cheese or with lox. For breakfast, it can be a little much with lox. But bagel with butter, bagel with jelly. It's Recca. Yeah, they did not include waffles on this list, which I am a bit disappointed in that we do not have waffles on here. Now, do I want jelly on a bagel that has a lot of sesames or poppy seeds on it? Maybe I don't want that. Maybe a savory bagel, I don't want that. But an egg bagel or a plain bagel with some jam, yeah, I'm in for it. A raisin bagel, a cinnamon raisin bagel is A tier, certainly. Croissant. I don't want that. I don't hate it, but I don't want a croissant. I don't want a croissant as a breakfast sandwich replacement. Some people use that. A very hot croissant with butter is good, but I don't think I want it with breakfast. I just don't, for breakfast. I just don't think so. A donut. Donut's A tier. There's something about a hot beverage and a donut when you are up too early. A donut is a great breakfast when you got up so early because you got to fucking go. Croissant's better for dinner. Yes. Sometimes you just got to leave the house and you're going to stop at a coffee shop and get a donut place on the way somewhere. And there's something to be said for a donut that you can just like get that sugar rush and the sweetness of it. I don't even want this particular donut, but a donut, there's something about it. To me, it's A tier. What is this? What is this? Is this just like a different kind of muffin we're talking about here? Like not a, like, a biscuit. Oh, it's a biscuit. Now, a buttered biscuit is pretty good. A buttered biscuit with like some sausage or some bacon, regular donut or some of that jelly or cream-filled donut. So, Lord Crashing, we're going all donuts here. This represents all bagels. This represents all donuts. I want a jelly-filled donut. I want a, I want a glazed jelly-filled donut if I'm going to get a donut. Jam and a biscuit is so good? Yeah. You're selling me on biscuits. I'm putting them in B tier, and I'm moving cereal down to C tier because I realized cereal, I just don't want it compared to these other things. Yeah, you got to make sandwiches out of biscuits. Yeah, you can take a little bit of your scrambled egg, throw it on a biscuit with a little hot sauce if you want that. Some people want that. A little ketchup if you want that. Again, we're talking about all cereals. There are a couple cereals that I would want and a bunch that I wouldn't. Steak and eggs. So this is a controversial thing that I'll say here. This is the kind of egg I don't want. I don't want steak with my eggs. I just don't want it. I want breakfast meat with my eggs. I don't want steak with my eggs. That's a dinner thing. Steak and eggs at a diner at 1 a.m. where you can't decide, or 2 a.m. where you can't decide what you want, so you get steak and eggs. Like, that to me makes sense. But steak in the morning, the only steak I want in the morning is like maybe a breakfast burrito that has shredded steak in it. Maybe. Yeah. This is a lunch thing. You wanted eggs at lunch or like late lunch, in between, like an early supper. So I'm gonna put it in B because I don't hate it. But it can't go higher than B. And then scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs is probably one of my least favorite ways to have eggs, but I still like eggs. Eggs are never going to go below B for me, like other than these eggs, these soft-boiled sliced eggs. I'm much more likely to have omelet. Eggs Benedict is decadent, but I'll eat it certainly. A scrambled egg that isn't too runny, I'm fine with. I don't even mind dry scrambled eggs because you just put fucking ketchup on it or hot sauce. Poached eggs, I do like a poached egg. Um, I like a fried egg. I like a sunny side up. I like the where you kind of cook both sides, and then when you cut open, then you get there. I don't mind a hard fried egg either. Um, yeah, yeah, a scrambled egg, a medium. Yeah, a scrambled egg is going to be A tier. We're going to put that in A tier. I think this is right. Bacon, all potatoes are there. Uh, Man, I should make a latke for breakfast one of these days. I think I should do that. Um, get me some really crispy. Yeah, sausages both ways. Yeah, fried egg, omelet, eggs Benedict, of course, pancakes. Waffles would go in this tier. We don't have waffles in this tier. It would go there. I do like a good filling breakfast. I do. If I'm going to really eat breakfast, then I don't eat lunch. Or I eat at like 10 a.m. and I have that. Yeah, I'm going to look, Lord Crash, and then we're going to look through here. Both ham and the other kinds of ham that have various names, the Canadian ham. It says I'm American. Yes, Meep. This is a very American forward thing here. Bagels still feel A tier. Donuts are too high. I'm moving that down to B tier. Scrambled eggs feels right. Avocado toast feels right. This feels too high now. Yes. Biscuits and gravy is not something that I would think of all the time, but if it's there at like a buffet, I'm going to get some biscuits and gravy. Toast. I can't put toast in A tier myself, but I understand that it's good. But like, I don't know. Without even trying the healthiest things on this list are D tier. For sure. D tier is where the healthy options are. 100%. Biscuits, steak and eggs, because I can't put eggs too low, but steak isn't what I want. Donuts in B tier. That feels better. Whatever kind of... now that I'm looking at this might be a Danish. And Danish feels C tier to me. English muffin feels C tier to me. I'm going to put parfait in C tier because I do like the crunch in the yogurt. Croissant feels right here. Cereal feels right. This feels like the correct placement of the cinnamon roll. Muffin, I know I'm weird about muffins. I just ate too many tasteless bran muffins in my life. A good blueberry muffin is good, but I just had so many bad muffins. Fruit cocktail is like, oh, I guess I'll have some fruit. Like, I don't want that. Baked beans, I just can't. Oatmeal, no. And these, at best, these are hard-boiled eggs. At worst, these are deviled eggs. What are we talking about? I feel pretty good about this list. Now, I will have a folder with a document, a Word document here with the other lists we didn't get to in case I do, because I'll do this again. I don't know when, but someday I'll do Tiermaker again, and I will include the following lists in that Tiermaker. I will include the Persona 4 personas and their variants for all of the main cast, and then the golden, like, third variants. The potatoes S tier, sausage S tier. Yes. I will include all 152 Gen 1 Pokemon. Gotta rank all of them. We've done friend or foe. We haven't done all of these Pokemon, including Missing No, which is great with their icons. That was a big list. That would have been a main list. And Nickelodeon shows, which includes someone included not watched, which would have been good because some of these I don't think I've watched because they just were a little late in my time. And I would also have to be like, wait, what's going on here? I know there are SpongeBob side stories. I think I knew that. And I'm like, the Penguins had a cartoon. What? I would have to do some research on this one. Although I guess I could do vibes only. But there are a few in here where I'm like, what? Like, I know about the Turtles. I don't know what that is. I think I saw this. I'm like, Who are these people? What's up? What's going on? I know that one. I know. Like, I know some of these. Rocket Power. I know about Rocket Power. But yeah, so those are the ones that I didn't get to. Those 3 will go into a Google document. I'll have links there for future, perhaps a future Tiermaker video, because I'm sure our stream. I'm sure I'll do this again. But thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I'll be back on Thursday with another stream. We're back to model kit building. We're working on the Full Armor 7th Gundam, which is a Gundam series, which is from a Gundam series, MSV. And MSV is a magazine. In Japan, they had a Gundam magazine where they would have photos of model kits and then paragraphs underneath that would tell the stories. And so it was like, instead of illustrations to a short story, it was realistic photos of battle scenes with model kits that they created for that. So it is a very obscure model kit. It's been in one video game and just that, but it looks fucking rad. So we're building that. But right now, we're going to go hang out with Matt Wiggins. My friend Matt is currently playing Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, so we're going to go hang out as Matt plays Sekiro, and that'll be fun. I hope you will come along on this raid. Matt's good people. His chat is very kind and very nice, so you'll have a good time there. And then a reminder, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, working on a model kit. Yeah, thank you for joining me for my non-model kit stream, my Tuesday stream. This one was fun, and it's always fun to see where my opinion vastly differs with others. Talk to you all soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.